Honourable House Chairperson, Honourable Chairperson, Honourable House Chairperson, Honourable Ministers, Honourable Members, and fellow South Africans. I'm a bit confused, Chairperson. I thought we were talking about the killing of councillors, not the development of economic growth today, which is what the Minister seemed to focus on. That aside, Chairperson, I shall begin. On the 21st of June 2022, I submitted a notice of motion and a motion without notice on this very topic that we are debating today. These motions called on the ANC to urgently intervene in the serious issue of factionalism in the organisation and also called on the governing party to curtail the bloodthirsty pursuit of resources and positions in KwaZulu-Natal. These motions called on the ANC to implement the recommendations of the Morani Commission as mandated by President Ramaphosa. Finally, a call was made on Police Minister Bheki Cele to accelerate investigations and prosecutions to stem the flow of killings in our province. Unfortunately and sadly, to date, these calls have fallen on deaf ears. Since then, 2 serving councillors have been brutally slain, one of them from my constituency. 2 associates of the Mkomazi councillor were also assassinated. A senior official from Umlalazi and a close protector of a municipal manager were also killed. A former ANC councillor was shot and killed in cold blood and in broad daylight in Isipingo. And in the last devastating turn of events, 2 policemen appeared in the dock in the Scapa Regional Court charged with the murder of the Mkomazi councillor and his associates. This development has led to grave concerns of the role the police are playing in the political killings in KZN. It is indeed a grim reminder of the killing fields of the 1980s, where over 20,000 people were killed in a civil war between the IFP and the UDF. And as was exposed at the subsequent Truth and Reconciliation Commission, this carnage was aided and abetted by the apartheid police force, and it would appear elements in the SAPs continue today to do the same. And before Minister Cele goes off on a rant about my possible involvement, I would like to remind him that I never served in the SAPS or the SANDF and was a member of the anti-conscription campaign. However, Chairperson, it appears little has changed, except for one significant difference. The battle then was over ideology. The battle today is over positions and resources. The reality is grim. Well over 300 politically related killings have taken place in KZN since the publication of the Morani Commission findings in 2018. And KZN braces itself in the run-up to the ANC elective conference next month and the potential fallout thereafter. Why focus on the ANC? The sad truth is that this scourge appears to, in large part, affect only their organisation. Only in rare instances does the violence spread to other parties. It is thus their problem to fix, as pointed out clearly by the Morani Commission. The ANC have to analyse the painful causes behind the slaughter. Political interference in policing is one of them. The police minister set up a much lauded unit to tackle the problem, the so-called Berets unit. The only problem is that 2 of the members of the unit are suspects in previous killings. To add to this conundrum, most senior police officials are where they are today through political support, thus exacerbating the competition for positions. This has allowed politicians to use the police as hit squad, a grim reminder indeed of the dark days of the 80s and the 90s. This political interference could also influence the fact that, in October 2022, the NPA announced that 40% of the cases on its roll related to political murders had been removed due to a lack of evidence. In his new book, War Party, veteran journalist Greg Arday unpacks how individuals and factions within the ANC, fighting not over ideology but over money and power, are feeding a deadly snake pit of violence and assassinations. In most cases, assassinations are a result of contestation for political positions and tenders. The majority of political murders are as a result of contestation between individuals and factions within the ANC. In these murders, what is at stake is money and power, not ideology. In the majority of cases, assassinations are a result of the takeover of the ANC by criminal networks, often linked to the taxi industry. Politicians, the taxi industry, and police have become enmeshed in a criminal takeover of the local state, which allows a small and violent elite to accumulate wealth at the direct expense of ordinary people. This is brought into stark relief when one considers a former eThekwini mayor who was described as the gangster mayor by grassroots activists. Under her watch, the councillor for Ward 101 in eThekwini was removed as a candidate by his party ahead of the 2021 local government elections. His replacement was then assassinated, and voters had to vote for a deceased candidate. Ahead of the subsequent by-election for Ward 101, the former councillor was arrested on suspicion of organising the assassination. He was nevertheless put up as a candidate and was elected, and he remains the councillor despite being in custody for the assassination. This is the kind of problem the ANC must tackle and deal with decisively. South Africa cannot afford internal wranglings in the ANC spilling out into the streets like the riots of 2021. I differ strongly with the minister. This is not a South African problem. It is an ANC problem. I seriously sympathize with all the colleagues in the House who have lost friends to this scourge. But you must clean your house. South Africa cannot afford this very serious threat to our democracy. I thank you.